2 weeks in a row. Let's go.
That's right.
We're back. Rook is not with us tonight. He's out drinking bourbons and eating steaks. Free.
Yeah, really emphasized how much he's enjoying himself tonight instead of being with us.
Screw that guy, bro. He's dead to me.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
He threw it in our face. That's what I'm mad about. Like, I'm not mad that he went. I'm mad that he was just like, so I'd rather do that because, why would I not?
I'm still not over the fact that he's a Devils fan, but I mean,
he literally could have sat there and just been like, yeah, my boss is making me, but he didn't even play the game.
Not even close. Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
No remorse. Like literally.
No remorse. Correct.
He's the dude staring at the family like, I don't care. I got drunk and ran over your grandma. Just saying.
That took a turn. Anyhow,
he's drunk Santa.
He's drunk Santa. He's backdoor Santa.
What? That's a different video. It's in the other room.
They call him backdoor Santa.
I think we have to call Rook backdoor Santa from now on. I think he just earned himself another nickname. At the very least, the next time I order him a Starbucks, it'll be to backdoor Santa.
I don't think can we call him backdoor Santa if he's Jewish?
As long as his ass is Catholic, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about
I don't know. We should have a priest on next week.
Yeah, we should talk about this. No sports tonight. I mean, the Nets are playing, but who cares?
I agree.
I would watch the Knicks right now if I could, but like they're not playing tonight. They play tomorrow. They play against the Lakers tomorrow.
Every time I try to watch some kind of sports, it does me wrong, Nick. So
Carl Anthony Thomas, shout out to his family. I think he experienced some sort of tragedy in his family. I don't want to speculate on exactly what. I saw some things about maybe possibly cancer somewhere or possibly a death in his family, but I do know that he missed the game yesterday due to a personal issue. So shout out to Carl Anthony Thomas and our best to him and his family because that's never good. But I saw something really crazy. Let's talk about this for 5 seconds because I think it transcends just basketball. It's a sports thing. We're talking about the Knicks, and apparently some Lakers fans were trying to make it out to be that Big Cat was taking the night off in order to rest for their game against the Lakers tomorrow night. And it's like, no, it was a personal issue. And they're like, no, he just doesn't, he's trying to rest it up because you guys are playing the Lakers. And then it came out. It came out with, no, he had something happen in his family. And they're like, yeah, sure it did. And, like as a fan, be fucking cool, man. Like people are human. You know what I mean? Like even athletes are humans. It reminds me kind of similarly to when the Yankees experienced that tragedy with Thurman Munson. And the league was like, yeah, you got to play. And the boss was like, no, we're not. Right. Our captain died. Like our captain died. We are not playing. They were like, move the game to the night. And he was like, no. And they were like, well, then we're not playing. We don't care. Lose all the money. We don't give a damn. And it's like a little bit of compassion. A little bit of compassion goes a long way. Yeah,
it doesn't exist. Not in sports and not in fan bases like big city markets like LA or New York or anything like that. It's just I feel like people, mob mentality, prone to be assholes.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Who's going to put them in check? They're assholes.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever. People are going to speculate. These people that speculate they never woke up, say it with their name on it. You know what I mean? It's just fucking hoopla from fan bases on the internet. It's nonsense. It's anonymously thrown out there. You know what I mean?
It's mob mentality, but again, that's permissible because in the mob won't call you out till you cross that line, and it's like, whoa, you cross that line. I'll give a good example, right? Mob mentality. Everybody's really extreme right, extreme left. Casey Anthony came out and said something, and everybody from both sides of the aisle were like, "Not you." And they basically, she had to remove herself from social media because everybody was like, "Oh, you thought you were gonna." Oh, no, not you, baby killer.
But I don't, if we're going to delve into that subject, right?
I just mean, like, again, mob mentality. You say fucked up shit. You do fucked up
yes.
shit until you cross that line. And
I agree.
In some instances, everybody's just like, nope, not you.
I agree. However, I also don't fault Casey Anthony for trying when you have one side of the aisle embrace the woman that was interning for Bill Clinton and essentially got her lady parts used as a humidor, is like a proponent of one side of politics out there, like cheerleading and then getting support. It's like you're literally famous because you were a human humidor. Yeah, but you don't get a say. So I can understand why Casey Anthony, a literal, I don't even know how to approach this, a person convicted, and we fucking all have an opinion about it, murdering her daughter or in the, death of her child. Any fucking person in that, anywhere associated with her should have been like, yeah, you're not going to get, you get no platform. The only platform you get is like a fucking prison. That's it.
Bear in mind, let's not try and compare apples to oranges here. We're talking about somebody.
I'm not comparing apple to oranges, dude. We're calling it what it is.
I'm just going to say, like, Casey Anthony's like, she killed her baby. I mean, Monica Lewinsky.
Dude, O.J. Simpson tried to write a book called If I Did It.
At some point you cross the line, though. Again, same deal. You cross the line. That's too much, man.
Some publisher told him, like, yeah, Juice, go for it.
Yeah, Juice,
and then amazingly, Simpson's like, I already got it penned. It's like weird. That was fast. Wow, this is a novel.
But shout out to Carl Anthony Thomas, my best to his family. Whatever he's going through, I hope he perseveres through it, as I do anybody who from any franchise that goes through personal struggle, because it's a personal thing. Like on the field of play, I wish you nothing but the worst if you're on my opponent's team. But in life, go on living life, man. I don't know you. You're a stranger. You're and if you have enough hate in your heart that you hate on strangers outside of like sports. Like, I don't got time to hate Brad Marchand on my time off. I only hate him when he's playing the Rangers. So like it ain't that serious that we need to start speculating that the man's lying about having a fucking tragedy in his family so that he can rest up to play the fucking Los Angeles Lakers. All right, Laker fans, that's just not the fucking case by any stretch of the imagination. Are you at all concerned the Knicks don't seem to be doing well? I mean, they seem to be doing really well against West Coast top teams. They're just not doing it against the East Coast top teams. Or are the Celtics and the Cavs that much better than everybody else in the league?
Listen, the Celtics and Cavs are doing what they're supposed to be doing. The Knicks aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think that these teams are better than they were last year. I don't. I think the Knicks being healthier than they were last year, obviously some pieces are different, but you would think they'd be making more of a statement right now, and they're just not. They're falling flat. They're winning the games it's supposed to win. I don't know, dude. It's just one of those, and basketball, obviously we watch casually as fans, like you say all the time. We're casual Knicks fans. Like, we'll root for the Knicks, but we really aren't NBA fans at all.
We're not diving deep. And you know what? Maybe what we need to do is we need to have Jason on the show talk Knicks.
I think so. That's definitely
Jason from MSG, and we talk Knicks. So we'll see if we can't do that for next week. We'll see if I'll reach out to Jason, see if Jason.
But you know what's funny? It's like the hype is not there on social media that was there last year either. And again, listen,
I'm not seeing the bing bongs at all.
It's just I don't know. It's flat at the Garden, and I how much of that is carrying over from the NHL because the Rangers are at this point. It's hard. I know we're skipping around a little bit, but I think one affects the other. I think when both teams are rolling, the Garden is hot. It's happening. It's the place to be. And this year we haven't attended a single Ranger game, Nick, and we do it every year, if not multiple times a year.
You know what it is? It's how much of it is the fact that it costs an arm and a leg to go to the fucking Garden, man.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to lie, and I'll tell everybody straight out. Judge me if you want. I tried to get tickets on Women's Empowerment Night, thinking like, hey, maybe that'd be one of those nights that people will stay home because they don't want to be preached to about whatever. I have no idea. You know what? I'm not a person to go to any night of anything at any hockey game or baseball. I'm there for the event, the sporting event, not for whatever fucking thing is going on in the background. So
I have seen you at the Alcoholics Anonymous night multiple times.
Last year, me and you went to Pride Night.
Did we? Oh, we did.
Against the Panthers. They gave out little like tote bags and stuff like that. And then again, it was a charged up night because everybody on Twitter was offended that Ranger fans were throwing the bags out as they left the Garden. It's like,
well, I don't really like totes in general.
Well, who needs listen, if I was walking into ShopRite and it's like, oh, I forgot my reusable bag. Thanks, fucking New York. Yeah, I'll take a tote bag and carry my bread and eggs and shit out. But what am I, as a grown man who's about to get on the subway train, going to use this tote bag for?
I don't remember what I did with it. I think I gave it to somebody because I don't really use totes. I'm not a fan of totes. By the way, upstate folk call a Rubbermaid box.
Mm-hmm.
They call that a tote.
Really?
Yes, I was in Saudi Arabia. My supply sergeant from upstate sent me some maintenance goods to fix my generator, to do regular maintenance on my, so oil filters, oil belts, things of that nature. Right. New battery so that I could do maintenance on my generator. And he's like, hey, it's in a black tote with wheels. And I'm like, why would he put it in a canvas bag with wheels? And I'm searching all over this airfield in Saudi Arabia for a black canvas bag with wheels. And then I finally see like it looks like a Foot Locker, like a plastic Foot Locker. And it's got a whole bunch of markings on it, but none of them are mine. I open it up and it's all of my stuff. And I call him up and I go, does it say 34th on the freaking lid is it a freaking tough box? And he's like, yeah, tote. That's what I said. I was like, let's get something straight, you inbred redneck hillbilly hick. A tote is a bag. No, a tote is a box. No, a tote is a bag. 100%. A tote is a bag.
Yeah, I mean, how hard is it to say, like, hey, the bin? I threw it in a bin.
A tough box.
Right.
It's literally a plastic box with wheels. A tough box.
Yeah, how is that?
Upstate folk call plastic boxes like a Rubbermaid, like, plastic box. They call it a fucking a tote.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like where is it? Here we call them what, subs, right? In New York. I don't think there's really a hero.
We call them heroes.
Yeah, but
subs. You don't call them subs.
I don't care enough. I call them a sandwich. I call them a sandwich, though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
sandwich.
I don't really say hero though either. Like, oh, let me get a hero. Like, I feel like that none of that really. I'm like, if I walk in, I'm like, yeah, let me get a sandwich.
But it's a hero though.
But there's some places that they're very specific. They're like, oh yeah, you get a hoagie.
That's like, and people are, they're retarded too.
I know. And then there's places out there that call it a grinder. What the fuck is a grinder?
It's I'm pretty sure it's a website like Tinder, but for homosexuals.
Yeah, but this is talking about sandwiches. At least I think it is.
Still for homosexuals.
Homosexual sandwiches.
Yes.
Somebody is going to be really one out of our two fans that are watching may go over to Grindr thinking they're going to get a homosexual sandwich, and they're going to get a different type of homosexual sandwich calling them up.
Double meat. I wish my friend Jay was watching right now because my friend Jay used to post like pictures of like
Grindr.
Well, my friend Jay is gay.
Okay.
But he used to like go on Grindr and be like a basic bitch on it and just like insult other men who were like hitting on him. And then he'd post like screenshots of it. It was the funniest shit in the world. And I'm just like, oh my God, Jay, you are ruthless. Because he's not like that in person. Like at work, he's not like that. And then to see that side of him and when I say not like that, I mean he's not mean. Like mean-spirited, but on Grindr, that guy is fucking rude. I'm like, dude, this is why you're alone. Why are you hurting these people?
Is he our age?
A little bit younger.
I was gonna say, because that sounds an awful lot like what me and my friends used to do on AIM, like AOL. Like they have different chat rooms, and you just go into like a random chat room, like a lesbian chat room. It's like, hey, what's up, ladies? How's your boobs hanging? Like, and then just
it's
screenshot
like,
the responses because people shit on you. Like, get out of here.
It's legit. Like he swiped right on somebody, and they swiped right on him, and he was
baited
like,
them in.
So fuck you. And I'm like, but why, bro? Like, this is why you're alone, man. But it was like he hasn't done it in a few years, but I used to watch it and like read it on Facebook because he's posted on Facebook. And I used to be like, oh my God, you are the most like, why?
Yeah, but you appreciated it because you were a big proponent of text from last night.
Oh my God.
That was your shit. Like,
so funny.
Forever. I could always depend on it. It's like 7 a.m. I'm just taking my first sip of coffee and I'm reading like fucking Jose telling some random chick.
My
like,
favorite, I will never forget this from text from last night. It was like my friend just got thrown out of the bar and she called the bouncer her boo thing as he was carrying her out. Anyway, we drive on. It's spring training.
Apparently.
So it's spring training. So here's my question: how much stock do you put into it being spring training, and a player not performing up to what you consider their par? You know, you look at a lineup card and you see Judge batting 190. Like, how much do you think about that and go, wow, okay, he's gonna have a rough season?
All right, so from that aspect, zero. I really don't put much into it because we've all seen people have hot spring trainings and then do absolute cock in the regular season, and just come out and like slump right away. Like, how many times does that happen? Somebody's batting like 332 or 340, you know, going into the season, and then all of a sudden they're batting like a 167 for the first month of the season. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. I don't put a lot of weight in it. I think spring training is to work out the final kinks going into the season. And shit, I mean, the amount of games these guys play, the first month of the season is essentially an extension of spring training. I mean, it's getting your feet under you and, you know, getting your reps in. Because right now you're just going through the motions. You're getting the cobwebs off. You're figuring baseball out again, right? You had a nice little break from it. Now you're back to it. So I don't put a lot of stock in it. However, rookies or people trying to make a ball club, I mean, spring training's it's do or die time. So that's a different situation. If you got a guy that's sitting there and you got a hole to fill and he's not really performing right out the gate, yeah, there's a good chance you see a veteran move or something like that. So I think that's like two different questions as far as holding weight with spring training.
Depends on who it is, I guess.
It depends on if you're looking at it from somebody that's going to make the team versus a spot that's available. Who's going to take it? Because then you're in a situation to play into earning a spot.
You're talking about Aaron Judge versus Andrew Velasquez.
There you go.
Or Oswald Peraza, somebody like that.
Right.
I agree with you to that degree. I also think that if you are Aaron Judge and you are lighting it up in spring training, you got to feel good going into the regular season.
Oh, 100%. You definitely want to get some kind of momentum going, and whatever that victory might be, you know what I mean? Dude, you know from playing the outfield, you lay out for a ball. Tell me your defense is not feeling like fucking 1,000%.
I mean, yeah. I always, they always say, how's it go? Like, they always say that you remember the failures more than you remember the victories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's factual. Like, I can remember more balls that I felt like I could have caught that I just missed by a hair, or a throw that was a half a step late or whatever it is, more so than I can remember like an amazing catch that.
Right. But what I'm saying is that feeling of, when you leave the ballpark and you're like, defense is dialed in. I feel good about defense. And I mean, we all want to hit. We all want to be aggressive at the plate and offensively. But especially for us playing in men's league, it's timely hitting that counts the most. Getting guys on base in front of you and then driving them home. But I think the one thing you want to do, especially playing rec ball, men's league ball, is the one thing you don't want to do is hurt your team. So the defense aspect it's a nice boost to know, like, yeah, I'm solid. I'm not creating any errors out there. Ball gets hit to me, it's an out, or I'm making a play on it. So I think that's the first foundation to building that confidence going into the season, because hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball. It's literally statistically the hardest thing to do. Yeah. So you're going to fail 8.5 out of 10 times if you're going to bat for average at this point.
At this point, yeah.
So it's – and again, if you're the best to do it that season, you're failing 6 out of 10 times, if not close to 7.
Yeah.
6.4 out of 10 times you're failing.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge margin of average to fucking killing it and below average to average, right?
You want to go up there and you want to feel like you're putting together good at bats and you're putting the ball in play hard. You don't got to hit a home run every at bat. You don't got to hit a double. You just want to feel like, well, I got a good piece of that. Even if you hit a ground ball to the third baseman or the shortstop, like, well, yeah, it's a ground ball. I missed it by an eighth of an inch, a quarter of an inch, because it's a line drive. If in the other direction, it's a line drive, right?
Right.
But I hit the ball hard. It's when you're rolling over and you're making weak contact, you're striking out. That's when you start feeling badly about yourself. That's when you start thinking like, oh crap, I'm lost up there. I don't even know what I'm looking for. Especially when you start swinging at nonsense and you're just like, all right, you look like a drunk person up there. You know, that's really where you're really a concern. You're hurting your team when you're swinging at nonsense. You're giving away at bats. You want to have productive outs, productive at bats, because again, if you hit a fly ball, that's a sac fly. In another situation, it's a sac fly. It moves the runner over. Same thing with hitting the ball to the right side. A lot of guys want to do that. And then also bear in mind, fans, a lot of people are working on little things, and it's not really the outcome that they're focused on. It's the process by getting to the outcome to see what's going to work, what's not going to work. I have another question for you. How do you think that the players, you said, oh, you had a nice break. Do the players get a nice break? Because I don't feel like guys like Giancarlo Stanton take a break. And that is why he is continuously injured all the time, because he's a gym rat. And Lou Piniella went on like a whole tirade about this years ago, about how players today are playing. I wouldn't say they're playing too much, because they don't play too much anymore, but they work out way too much. And all the exercise and all the gym, it creates tense muscles and it looks nice. You look chiseled. But this is a sport where you're probably better off being limber than you are being a brick shithouse.
Shit. I mean, how many examples do you need to see of pitchers putting on some muscle mass and then absolutely losing their stuff,
or losing weight, I mean? Or losing weight and then losing, like CC Sabathia lost weight.
Yeah.
David Wells lost weight and he lost his mojo. It's all about comfort. And I honestly feel the guys like Giancarlo Stanton specifically, I don't know what his health problem is now, but the little injuries that he gets, when you pull an oblique, it's because you're in the gym every single day.
Yeah, I was going to say, you never heard of a let's say 70s or 80s hockey player or baseball player swinging beers in the locker room after a game every night, with a big old beer gut and slamming down pizzas and shit. You never heard of them, overstretching or having an oblique tear. Yeah. Amazingly. So, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those weird things where you're right. It actually does. Is it a vanity thing? Because you know what? You build up muscle, you start hitting the ball harder, farther, whatever. You get the bat speed up, exit velo goes up. It's nice, whatever. But at a certain point, you're right. It's the rubber band thing. You know what I mean? You're just using your tendons, and the elastic's eventually going to wear out when you're using them every day in the gym and not giving your body a chance to recover. And it's a long season, baseball. So I don't know. At a certain point, we went past being healthy to trying to be like, super soldiers type of, max peak athlete. And that's actually hurting these guys now.
Yeah. Lou Piniella said, a few years ago, back in 2019, basically, that these guys don't stop working out, and it lends itself to stiff muscles, and that's why they get injured. I think that somebody like Giancarlo Stanton is one of those guys that he falls into that group of guys that just don't stop going to the gym, and because they don't stop going to the gym, it's common, like, just he's just going to get injured all the time. And that's how simple it is. I mean, as far as going to the gym, yes, again, you're gonna get jacked and you'll be able to hit the ball a little bit harder and yada yada yada. And I guess it sounds great in theory, but who gives a shit if you're on the injured list?
Yeah,
you're not wrong. So Lou Pinella said, he goes, the season is so long now and so strenuous, so you need to rest your body for 2 or 3 months after it's over. But today these players have all their personal trainers and they work out all winter and they put on more muscle. When I played, we didn't have a weight room or a strength coach, and everybody took the team bus to the ballpark. We never heard of an oblique. Now guys are going out on their own 5 or 6 hours before the game, going right to the batting cage, taking hundreds of swings a day. It's overdone. The body can't take it. If you ask me, that's where all these oblique injuries are coming from. These kids are in such good shape, but at the same time, they're more susceptible to injury because their muscles are strung too tight. You can't work it 12 months out of the year. And I think he's right. This is one of those sports where being limber, if you don't play the field and you pull a quad, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And we've seen Stanton specifically with lower body injuries, and he doesn't play the field. It's like, what are you getting lower body injuries for? Because you ran 5 feet? You ran 5 feet and pulled a muscle? Don't you go to the gym? What are you doing in the gym that you pulled a muscle? We're running 5 feet.
Well, not for nothing. And it's definitely a new trend of like the last, I want to say maybe 15 years of like making excuses for not running shit out, because it's like, oh, it's an out anyway. And what's the point? Like, you might injure yourself. It's like the point is, if you can't run the fucking first base without injuring yourself, then you suck. Like, there's something wrong then. Then there's something wrong. If you can't start and go and stop, like running should not be something that you're afraid of doing too much or overdoing it. Like, it's 90 feet to first base. And it's like, yeah, well, you know what? You don't want these guys to get hurt. So what's the point of legging it out? Like, I don't know, because people make fucking errors. And these guys have gotten really used to, especially in the infield, of just looking up and seeing you look up, see the ball's there, and you just start lollygagging it to first. They have time. How about you put a little pressure on dudes, especially out the gate at the start of the season? Get an errant throw, get a Chuck Knobloch hitting some poor bastard in the 5th row.
Not anymore, because
there's the net there, but you know what? I can still dream like the net's not there and somebody's losing an $18 beer.
We lost a lot when that net went up.
Yeah, a lot of entertainment.
But yeah, I agree with you. I 100% think that if you can't run without hurting yourself, if it's that big of an endeavor to run 90 feet, because you might injure yourself running 90 feet when you claim to be an athlete, like, that's just ridiculous. Mickey Mantle played on an entire career without an ACL, and he ran.
Right.
That's it. Like, I'm not saying he never went on the injured list, but I'm saying that he didn't have an ACL. That's what I'm saying. It's a proven fact. Mickey Mantle tore his ACL in 1951, never got it fixed, and played for the next 17 years on one leg.
So, speaking about Mickey Mantle, the Garage Brand Beer posted just a random tweet. Beer will never retire. So our response to them from the podcast Twitter was, yeah, well, it retired 2 back-to-back livers of this Hall of Famer. And I put up a picture of Mickey Mantle. They followed us back.
That's grim, man.
Apparently they like that stark reminder that not only did Hall of Famer Mickey Mantle wear through 1 liver, he fucking wore through 2. As dedication. That's a real teammate. That's somebody that's going to get the job done.
So the other question I have regarding baseball is a rookie, a young guy, Steve Lombard, for example, has an amazing spring. Amazing. Just and when I say amazing, I don't mean amazing against guys that'll be bagging groceries in a few weeks. I mean amazing by any measure. He's starting the game, he's hitting home runs and doubles and singles and playing Gold Glove style defense against starting pitching for Major League Baseball. What do you do with that kind of guy? You send him down to the minors knowing that you need a third baseman and he can play third base at a high level. He's never played above single A and he struggled last year, but he's come into the majors or to the spring training now, and he's batting over 300. I think he's batting 350 something at this point. And I mean, let's
Hold on before you go into even. We both know the issue. The issue is, your minor league contract versus your big league contract and saving money and what the move the organization wants to go through.
That may not be the issue because, again, Dominguez is on the team. He's 21 or 22.
Right. But you know how they do with these guys where it seems like they have a piece. They have a piece to fix a problem, and it's in the minor leagues, but they'll come up with an excuse. Either they want to leave them there for more time or whatever. And we both know it's just they don't want to pay them a big league contract or lose a year down in the minors or whatever, the stipulation is. If they play a certain amount of games up, then they have to stay a major league player or whatever it is.
Yeah, it does. But I don't think this is the instance only because he's not in AAA. If he was in AAA, I think you're 100% right. He's not. He's just finished his first long season of A-ball last year. At the same time, he's got the pedigree. His father's a former major leaguer. So he's been accustomed to this job his entire life. He's known about it his entire life. But again, and I think the reason that I bring it up is because you look at somebody like Dominguez who's batting 174 this spring, and he's not playing good defense. And I understand he's moving from center field to left field. If for those of you who think that the outfield is the outfield and it's not different, I promise you the corner outfield positions are way different than playing center field. I played center field for a decade. I think I got one bad read in a decade because the ball knuckled on me. Sometimes that happens, but that can happen to you in any outfield, any position, actually, not any position. You can get a ball that gets hit on the screws and knuckles at you. But in the outfield, I promise you, if a righty hits a ball to right field, that ball is hooking in a fashion that you will never see in center field.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way. It looks like it's coming at you, and it's a curveball because the ball's spinning backwards off the way that it came off the bat. And the same thing, if a lefty hits it to left field, it's gonna hook. It's gonna hook weird. And when we say hook, I promise you that shit curves. And if you're not used to seeing it, it is hard to understand.
I was gonna say, and forget about it if it's a night game. The ball's moving and you're not really you're catching it going in and out of the lights because the ball is obviously up now above the fucking lights. And by the time your eyes adjust, now it's like, oh, if you haven't been playing that position long, you didn't naturally read which way that ball was going without really know. Your brain's going to interpret which way that ball is going for you before you even realize what's going on. But now if you're playing a different spot and now you're going day to night games or different ballparks, you have no reference of. It's not an easy thing to do. Plain and simple, it's not.
A high sky, you look up, there's no clouds. That ball doesn't look like it moves. You're just like, all right, I think I know where it is, but there's nothing for you to put that relative to where you are.
How many times you see somebody, and it happens every year in Major League Baseball, a pro, I mean somebody that's a potential gold glover in any position in the outfield, right? Will just horribly misplay a ball. And nobody says anything because everybody's done it, because there's just situations where, like you said, a high sky, or you lose it in the fucking sun, because that's always the case, dude. It's always the first ball of the game out to you that goes right up in the sun. You're like, son of a bitch.
I can't tell you if you've never been in that scenario where you look up and the ball is directly where the sun is.
Nope.
And you just kind of sit there and pray. And you're like, please don't hit me in the face. Like, I'm all right with the ball not being caught. Just don't hit me in the face.
the problem with the ball in the sun, especially at center field, like you said, because you get kind of the true, if you got a one to center field, it's like kind of a true read up and down straight at you to center field. When you get one in the sun, it's the absolute worst, because then not only do you not make the play, you look like this as the ball's coming at you. So you look like an absolute asshole. It's like, is he afraid of the ball? It's like, well, kind of, because he can't see it.
If it's twofold. One, when you play center field, the ball gets hit back at you. There's no curve to it. It's hard to kind of read depth. If it's hit right directly at you, it's hard to see depth. So what you try to do is you try to like crouch down to give yourself an arc to see if the ball like will move a little tiny bit. And so you start doing the, like where you'll see guys like look like they're about to take a knee and they're doing this. It's because they can't see the ball, and then they're trying to get a read on where the ball might be by moving their body, but there's no place to go. So you just kind of get really small. You'll see guys do it on a line drive too. You'll see guys all of a sudden they'll take it looks like they're about to take a knee, and then they're like, "Oh shit, it's in front of me," or "Oh shit,
Listen,
I got in the back."
everybody misplays a ball every once in a while, and it's because you have a split second for your brain to react to what's happening. So, I mean, shit, I've done it. Like one hoppers at second base where it's just like you get down and then I've literally bailed on a ball because it's like, oh shit, that's coming at my face. I didn't expect, I'm playing it low and that thing comes up high. You just get out of the way. It's like, yeah, no, I'm not sacrificing the face for that. Not that I think I'm pretty or anything like that, but I hate the dentist to begin with and I'm not fucking going in there with cracked teeth. I don't have the money for that, let alone the pain tolerance.
But so you're against. So my question is: are you for or against bringing somebody like Steve Lombard up to the majors to play third base? He's playing stellar third base defense, Gold Glove caliber defense, and he's batting very, very well, but has never played above A ball. What are your thoughts? You're bringing up Dominguez, who's played AAA and is hitting terribly and has terrible defense right now. So
obviously I do it from a standpoint of why not, and this is the probably best test of talent. And everybody's going to get that if he gets brought up and he plays 5 games and it's nothing to speak of, and they find a different stopgap answer, then they try it out. And no harm, no foul. And I think how many players come up and go down. It's a normal cycle of going up and going down. So I don't think there's any issue with it. I think it would be smart to try it. I mean, if you could fix problems in house. And all of a sudden, now you don't have a problem whatsoever. How is that a bad thing? So, like I said, if there's no issue as far as contracts or playing in the majors to minors and changing his deal or something like that, why not? I mean, and it's just irritating because the Yankees do what they do, and you're dealing with a fucking DJ LeMahieu that is not an MLB caliber player for the last 2 years, I would argue. So why is he still here? I have no idea. But actually, that's not true. We know why, because these fucking fans that's like can't let go of people. Like, oh, we love DJ. How can you let him go? It's like, because what has he done? That's how. Last time I checked, like, if you're a fan of the team, we want to win a championship, not like have a feel good story at the end of the year. Like, oh, we all had a great time. It's like, yeah, well, we fucking finished below 500, so fuck you and your good time.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. DJ LeMahieu needs to go, but that guy's got go away heat right now. People are like, oh, he could turn it around. No, he can't. I'm sorry, he can't. He can't. I mean, he was good for those 2 seasons they used juiced balls, and then everybody was like, all right, we can't use these juiced baseballs anymore. And he's over what is he, over 34, 35?
I was gonna say he's got to be close to 36, 37. So
he's not. It's just not. I don't understand where you think that he's gonna revert to who he was when he was 32. It just isn't. I just don't think that's feasible.
No,
he's 36.
What
he'll be 37 in July.
Right. So see, that's the thing. Like, people hope for the best, and there's nothing wrong with hoping for the best, but in reality, you don't get better as you get older. It doesn't happen. Like, unless you're doing steroids or you were just a fat fucking piece of shit your entire life and all of a sudden got skinny and got in good shape.
The only way you get better when you're older is when you were bad when you were younger. Like,
right.
And there's no getting worse. Like, you were at the bottom. There's only one way to go, and that's up.
Yeah, like, right. You reach a certain point where your body is on the decline, and it's not as like there's not a number that like Jaromir Jagr's still playing hockey right now, and he's good to go. Like he'll outskate everybody pretty much out. In the minors in America right now, I would argue, but at the level of the NHL, he's not up to that caliber. But he's still, he's standing the test of time, which is great. But other players at like fucking 31, they're hanging up their skates because their body has lost the edge. They can't keep up anymore, and it's time to go. Their peak might have only been like their absolute peak might be just good enough to stay in the NHL. So for 3 seasons, they might hit their peak and hang around, and then they're gone.
If they're gonna hit their peak, they should do it in their room.
Yeah, with the fucking shades drawn and maybe the lights off. Have a little decorum, but
you know what? It's so funny. I was playing NBA 2K25 the other day, and why not, man? Because the Knicks are only going to win a championship through that. Okay,
fair enough.
All right, That's the only way the Knicks and the Jets are going to win a fucking championship and the Rangers for that matter, is if I play video games and I cheat. That's the only way I will see my teams win championships. Anyhow,
Fair enough.
what I was saying was in that game, when you create a player, you can what's this player's peak? And it'll be like, oh, their peak is, whatever that stat is. And they go, what age do they hit their peak? And then you put down what age they hit that peak. And then it says, what age is that peak over? And then you put that, and you're right. It's like Troy Tulowitzki, perfect example. MVP caliber player, but only for 3 years. And then after that, it was fucking garbage. He's a backup.
Yep.
We always talk about Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter was never the best shortstop in baseball. He was number 2 for 20 years, though.
All right. It's a hell of a streak.
That's tough because the guys that were number 1 ahead of him, the Miguel Tejadas and the Troy Tulowitzkis, those kind of guys, they were the MVP, right? They both had an MVP in their respective leagues, but the impact to the game that they had, it's not nearly as close to being what Jeter had. Burton 6783 says, "Hey, listen here. Let me tell you something." Burton, go ahead, tell us something. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, so you're right.
I was like almost like that was a proper intro, like a Razor Ramon. Hey yo.
I actually thought he was going to start rapping for a second.
I almost rapped at your wedding. It was a close one.
Did you?
You don't remember my speech?
I do, but I don't recall you rapping.
I didn't. I looked at the DJ and I'm like, hey, instead of writing a speech, me and Brooke came up with some rap lyrics. DJ dropped me a beat and I pointed at him and he just smiled at me while everybody else at your wedding went, ooh. Like
he should have straight up went.
I know, and I would have gotten nervous.
But yeah, I definitely agree. I think that bringing up Steve Lombard, I agree with you. The only thing is you lose an option. That's all. I think you only get like 5 or 6 options. You lose an option, and obviously, depending on how long he is in the majors this season, if they did bring him up, it's gonna reduce the amount of eligible time he has before salary arbitration. So instead of being eligible at 28, he's eligible at 25 because you'll get 6 years after you start. So, but I don't see like they don't have a better third baseman right now. The only concern I would have is typical New York fans destroying this kid because why not? They're already turning on Dominguez, who's 21 years old. They're already turning on Volpe, who's 22 years old. Oh, they suck. They suck. Oh, Volpe made an error today. I think he's had a couple of errors this spring. Oh, he's a terrible fielder. The man has a gold glove. Derek Jeter never got a gold glove until A-Rod stopped playing shortstop. Just so everybody knows. Just keeping it real. Derek Jeter never won a gold glove until A-Rod stopped playing shortstop, and then he won his first gold glove. Ask anybody in the world. Your favorite player, Derek Jeter, was a terrible defender. He didn't get to
not terrible. Not that's extreme.
He didn't get to 90% of the balls that the rest of the league got to. So he didn't make an error. Like you said, he didn't hurt the team, but he didn't help the team either. I'm not a big fan of advanced stats, but if you're going to look at the range of the average player in Major League Baseball, if they can all get to this much space, Derek Jeter's getting to that much space. That's an out for everybody else. It's not an out for him. And it looks like a hit, and it is a hit in the scorecard, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like Ray Ordonez is a better shortstop than Derek Jeter. Omar Vizquel is a better shortstop than Derek Jeter. Countless others are better better defensive shortstops than Derek Jeter. I'd argue
the Ray Ordonez thing because if Jeter has at 4 times the staying power of Ray Ordonez.
Ray Ordonez couldn't hit, and he was more interested in freaking truth be sold. From my uncle, who was a diehard Mets fan, used to always say, my uncle Carlos used to always say, he's like, because Ray Ordonez was more interested in salsa dancing than he was in playing baseball. He was a huge fan of, it's part of our culture. He was a huge fan of salsa dancing. So he took more time out of his day to go dance and listen to music than he did to play baseball. So he couldn't hit.
I like how you try to romanticize that. But if I was like, yeah, he's Irish, he spent more time in the bar, fuck you, he's a drunk, leave him alone. That wouldn't be an acceptable excuse. So you know what? The hell with Ray Ordonez and his salsa dancing. How about that?
Moving forward.
Whiskey of the week.
I want this to get watered down too much. I got a little ice cube in there. I don't want to get it.
I'm still pouring mine. Go ahead.
I'm still wondering where the hell Burton went. I was ready to hear something, but he never said anything. We miss you, Burton. I'm actually drinking Elmer T. Lee.
Oh yeah.
It
Not
was a
much
gift.
left in that bottle.
I shared some with my wife the other day.
Nice. Did she like it?
She did. She did. I shared it with her the day before my surgery for good luck.
Oh, nice.
And two beautiful gentlemen got me this. Actually, there was a different logo on the inside of this bottle. It was actually TJ licking this guy's face, but we had to censor that. So, yeah.
Sometimes it gets out of hand in the bourbon culture. You know what I mean?
So Burton says now we're getting somewhere. I think he likes the bourbon. He's a fan of us drinking on the show. So
well, you know what? This one goes out to Burton wherever he may be, possibly prison.
We didn't say he's incarcerated. We're just saying that he might be working out of prison right now. This is a single barrel sour mash. Who makes this again? Buffalo Trace?
Yes.
Buffalo Trace makes this. We've been to the factory. It's a beautiful place. Actually, it really looks like Hogwarts when you go to Buffalo Trace. It's really weird. And this
feels like Hogwarts too. Like something special is about to happen.
I sometimes it feels like Willy Wonka. I feel like one of us was going to get kidnapped because we fell into a vat of mash.
Definitely possible. I love going on tours like that where it's like, oh, this is a real working factory. And it's like, I know that. You want to know how? Because there's at least 15 things in this room that can kill me right now. That's how you know you're in a real working factory. If things are moving around, it's like, yep, if you put your arm in that, you're going to lose your arm. It's like, it is a real factory.
So Meredith is watching, and she said she did like Elmer Tilly where we had it the other day.
Beautiful. Very nice.
And she said,
cheers to Meredith.
Cheers. So Burton 6783 says, waiting to pop my Stag Junior for my birthday if I ever go out.
Or get let out. Yeah, possibly.
Get let out.
He may be incarcerated. We don't know. Stag Junior, another good bottle. So go ahead, give your review of the bourbon, and then we'll jump into bourbon culture altogether because I mean a lot of good developments going on this year so far. But go ahead, Nick. Tell me how Elmer T is tasting.
This is a sour mash, and when you're having that chew at the end, goddamn if it ain't sour. I mean, it hit me hard. At the end of that chew. I actually ate 2 bananas before we started the show because I wanted to get my potassium levels up.
That's fair.
It's a little harsh up front, and then it opens up at the end because you're going to taste the sour up front, but it opens up at the end. Typical bourbon, notes of unicorn and Hufflepuff in there. So
no
Ravenclaw. I had a big argument with Meredith about this. I was like, "You're such a Hufflepuff." She was like, "No, I'm not. I'm a Gryffindor." I'm like, "You're a Hufflepuff, and you know it." She's like, "I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I'm a Gryffindor," but she knows what the houses are. So she goes on the Harry Potter, like the official Harry Potter webpage, and it has like a "What house are you in?" And she does a whole questionnaire, and at the end, guess what she was?
Oh no,
a fucking Hufflepuff.
Jeez.
And then at the end, it gives you all the qualities of a Hufflepuff. And she's like, oh, well, the Hufflepuffs have a lot of great qualities. And they have the least amount of evil of dark wizards. I'm like, whatever, you Hufflepuff, get out of my face. Go Hufflepuff out of here. But it's actually very, very good. It's not as sweet as I would like it to be.
Okay. Are you having it neat or over ice?
It's just 1 cube.
Okay. Because I feel like that's such a delicate bourbon that I feel like you lose a lot of the characteristics.
It's got a good exhale though. I got a really good exhale. I like it.
So I got very lucky, and our good friend Rook let me know that this bottle was sitting on a shelf somewhere. So I was able to pick this bad boy up. Little Weller Full Proof. MSRP on this thing is going to be like $70, but obviously in the New York, New Jersey area, we don't get things for MSRP, at least not high-end allocated bottles. But this, I think, was a steal. This is the cheapest I've ever seen it sitting on a shelf at $159. So I scooped it up. It's still below secondary prices. If you go online right now, the cheapest you're going to find it shipped to your house is going to be about $300 to $350. Walking into a store and seeing this on the shelf for $159 is a home run. And like Burton said, Stag Juniors are making a comeback to the stores where, I mean, Stag Juniors are, again, another $60, $70 bottle. but you're never going to see that MSRP. I haven't seen one in MSRP ever, unless you're good friends with a liquor store or you win some kind of raffle or something like that. It's going to be a highly allocated bottle. And I bought my first bottle of Stag that I owned, in the middle of COVID, and I spent $250 for it because that was the cheapest I could find, and I always wanted a Stag Junior. And now I've seen it in multiple stores for $150 sitting on the shelf. Like, not just one sitting there. Holy shit. I
think I got one for 200 at some point.
Yeah. So a lot of you can get it shipped to your house right now for $200, which is insane.
I don't know who Kettle Black knows, but Kettle Black sells Stag.
Well, that's because they're getting they don't have a supply issue. It's more liquor stores, the way liquor stores work and the way distribution goes to restaurants is two different things. So a liquor store might have to sell a certain number of cases of Buffalo Trace to get, a couple of the allocated bottles. Whereas a restaurant, if that's what they're on order and that's what the relationship that they have, I'm sure the Kettle Black probably gets a bottle of Stag Junior once every 2 or 3 weeks. So, I mean, and realistically, if you break that down, that's not a lot. That's a case, maybe a little more a year.
Well, no, I was more akin looking at it from a position of like, all right, I'm a restaurant. I got a bottle. If it doesn't cost as much for me, I'm going to sell it for whatever the customer thinks it costs.
Right. Well, supply and demand is big in any industry, but the bourbon industry, if you can find suckers at this price, then put it out that price and let a sucker buy it because.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, what I mean is like, how much does a bottle of Blue Label cost?
About $200.
It's a little bit more now, actually. But
okay, well, the last time I bought one was close to $2.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than $200 now. But if you go to a restaurant and ask for a glass of Blue Label, it's going to cost you $70 or $80.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But somehow Kettle Black selling Stag Junior for freaking $20 for a double pour.
Right, but you got to remember they're probably getting that bottle for close to MSRP.
No, I understand
and
that.
$20 a pour times 13 pours in a bottle
there's 22 pours in a bottle.
No, there's 13 pours in a bottle.
I mean, a pour is how much?
2 ounces.
Then there's
13.47.
I could have sworn there was 22 ounces in a bottle.
Well, a pour is 2 ounces.
So there's 10 pours in there.
No, I'm telling you, it's like 13 and change. I've done this before. 750 milliliter. Just Google it. 750 milliliter. How many 2 ounce pours are in 750 milliliter?
I mean, how many ounces are in 200 or in 750?
Right? All right.
Not 2 ounce pours. Like, come on, man. Let's math this shit. But again, I wouldn't sell it for what I paid for it. I'd sell it for what you paid for it.
Right, but they're getting it actually closer to what you would pay for it out of the bottle.
I don't want that. I want more. Why would I do that? Again, the price that I would like that for me, what they charged, I was like, that's crazy. It's a $200 bottle of whiskey. Everybody else is selling a $200 bottle of whiskey for $60 a glass.
No, I hear you.
They're selling it for a third of that. That's crazy.
No, absolutely. No, dude, I'm with you. How about I've been to places that have like old Rip Van Winkle, which is pretty much 10-year Pappy. It's not really Pappy, but it is. And it's the 10-year version. Full secondary on Rip Van Winkle 10-year is about, let's say, $800-900. It's $100 bottle. If you can really find it for a decent price, you might pay $250 for it, and that'll be it. Everything above that is going to be like full secondary, and people pay it because it's hard. It's Pappy. They don't make as much now they're making more. I heard they're ramping up production, but who knows how many years it's going to take to actually see it. But a Pappy 10, where you're going to get it at a restaurant, you're probably only paying, let's say, $150 for it at most. You're selling a pour of Pappy 10. Most restaurants are selling a pour for between $50 and $100. So they're making their money on the bottle in the first 2 pours, and then everything else is profit. Whereas if you go to a restaurant, and this is where I said like restaurants have different relationships with distributors. So if this is something that they're getting MSRP all the time and it's not something special, like when Trump owned Ferry Point, the golf course in the Bronx. Now Bally owns it, but when it was Trump's golf course, I seen a bottle of Rip Van Winkle 10 sitting behind the bar, and I said to the bartender, I was like, hey, I said, just for the fun of it, because I know I can't afford a pour of it, how much you charging for that, Van Winkle 10? And she's like, how much do you think? I'm like, I don't know, $110. And she asked my brother, and he's like, no, like what, like 150 in this place? And she goes, no, it's like $26.
Give me 3.
And we were like, holy shit. Like, but again, it's because this isn't something special to them. They get a bottle every time they place a liquor order. It's not a big deal.
Well, on top of that,
I mean?
there's a certain clientele that they're aiming for that.
Well, that's the other thing too, is if you have enough money to buy, let's say this at full fucking secondary at $400 or $500, like you have fuck you money. That's the only way. Well, you're dumb. Like, or this is your favorite bottle in the whole wide world and you treat yourself once a year. But to casually spend that, like, I'm not doing that. Even a bottle like, Blanton's is starting to come back down to earth and you can actually find it on store shelves for under $100. But even that, like at $60, it's worth the bottle. But I'm not going crazy, and especially not if I'm going to drink. If I'm really feeling old fashions that month, I'm not going to go through an everyday sipper. It's not going to be $100, $110, $125 bottle. It's going to be a Wild Turkey 101, $26, good to go. Perfect proof point, excellent in a drink, or even the 101 rye. So it's just, I don't know. The bourbon market is definitely insane, but it's finally coming back down to earth, which is why I was able to pick this up. And speaking about this is probably, I love Antique 107, but this is so good. 114 proof. It's definitely, it's got some kick to it, dude. Right on the nose. It's like gasoline. You know what I mean? It's got some proof to it, but it's very sweet. You get that sweetness right away. Coats the palate. Perfect amount of oak. You get the oak right up front, and then it just kind of fades into the background. And then it gets kind of sweet and hot at the same time. Gives you the old Kentucky hug on the way down. But I mean, I think this is the perfect combo of proof and oak and just flavor. This is very sweet. Sweet cherry notes on it. Then a little bit, the caramel is not as pronounced as other bottles. I think the oak kind of takes over and it's not as sweet. The barrel becomes more of that woody flavor. So overall, I should have bought the second bottle that was sitting there. Not to be a dick, but I should have bought. Dude, I could see myself drinking a bunch of this. It just goes down so well. But it's nice to see that normal people like us can actually go out and grab a bottle of this or that. And I mean, we shared it on a podcast, Twitter. I was able to find a bottle of that Elmer T. Lee at MSRP. I paid $75 for it with tax. Couldn't believe it. I've never seen that bottle for anything less than $300. The bottle that we got for you for your, wedding and stuff like that is your wedding gift. My brother found that and he found it for under $200. Like I said, I've never seen it for under $300. And then all of a sudden sitting on a shelf, $75. I'm like, I didn't even let the kid stop saying a sentence. I was like, I'll take that.
Just so you know, Burton, it should have, not should of.
Wow. Strike one, Burton.
There you go.
Strike one.
Should of is not English at all. It should have, or should apostrophe VE would also suffice.
So should we even ruin the rest of this podcast with Rangers talk, or should we just talk about something like nice and fun and happy?
I would like to talk about something nice and fun and happy.
Me too. Can you think of anything? Because all I'm thinking about is the Rangers now.
I'm going to Japan in 17 days. I'm on a plane to Japan.
I'm so pumped for you, dude. Legitimately, I am psyched for you. I got to go to Japan when I was a kid. I was 12 years old. My father won a trip to Japan off of Q1043, the classic rock radio station in New York City. Father wins a trip to go see Van Halen in Japan.
That?
Dude,
the Fix had. I've never heard anybody win anything from a radio station ever.
Yeah, my dad did, and literally two people, all expenses paid to go to Japan to see
and he brought
Van Halen. Dude, well, so my mother's like, 15-hour flight. Yeah, I'm good.
And you're afraid to fly too. It's amazing you got on that plane.
I wasn't afraid to fly back then. I didn't become afraid to fly until you hit that point where you realize you're not invincible and little kids die all the time. It's actually
So how scared are you right now that planes are crashing all over the place, allegedly, but they're not?
Considering that I'm going to Scotland and Ireland in about 2 months, I'm shitting a brick.
Just so you know, I looked at the numbers. like the national numbers for incidents with aircraft, it's actually down.
Listen, you can tell me all the statistics in the world.
It was almost suspicious. No, I just want to put you out because the media has been covering it as if planes have been crashing every single day. For the month of February, there have been 20 less incidences with planes this year than there were last year and the year before. What's
crazy is
you just didn't hear about it last year because that wasn't the hysteria that the media was pushing on us.
Right. Well, no, last year was every fucking train in America decided to derail at the same time.
Right.
Some of which carrying poison chemicals that
was the hysteria last year.
The guy that was supposedly our president or, just a geriatric was sitting there like, no, it's all right. And it's like all the animals have fled the state, sir. It's not okay.
I breathed it in and I'm fine.
Yeah, you're doing great, sir. Looking good. Dude, so I'm so pumped. So we got to go see. Listen, seeing Van Halen in the Tokyo Dome was fucking nuts.
I'm gonna go see the Yomiuri Giants in the Tokyo Dome.
You should.
I am. I got tickets.
That's awesome, dude. The Tokyo Dome's sick. We've seen a concert there is a little different.
You didn't see them live at Budokan though, so it's like whatever.
That's true. But I also didn't see. I saw Gary Sharon as the lead singer, so that was kind of like, meh. He did okay, but I mean. After seeing Sammy Hagar this year at PNC, and I got to see him now, what was that? 20? No. Yeah. 25 years ago. So imagine seeing Sammy Hagar back then. That would have been wild. But dude, awesome time. The people in Japan are amazing. It's probably one of the friendliest countries as far as walking in as a tourist, not speaking the language, and then feeling immediately comfortable and at home because Tokyo, if you're from New York City, Tokyo is New York City on steroids, but clean and respectful, which is not things that you characterize New York City with. The only garbage you will ever see on the floor is cigarette butts because everybody chain smokes. And amazingly, their lung cancer rate is way below what we have here in America.
I swear to God, if I find the son of a bitch in my block who smokes cigarettes still, because I keep finding his butts in my yard, I'm going to strangle him. I don't know who it is, but if I find them, I'm going to strangle them. How hard is it to put your fucking cigarette butts in your fucking pocket? Because if you're smoking, you live there. So why are you putting your cigarettes outside? Put it out and bring it into your house and throw it in the fucking trash. How hard is it?
Nick, you're talking about people that I was driving on the highway once and I watched a family throw a whole fucking bag of McDonald's out the window on the highway.
And then
they were done with their sandwiches and it was all the wrappers and ketchups and.
How do you know it was all the wrappers and ketchups?
Because I watched it explode off another car. It was shit everywhere, bro. I'm the big ass bags, like the tote bag size bags of McDonald's.
I'm not saying that's okay. I'm saying is you don't want it in your car. I get that. If you're at your house, you live there. There's a garbage can available to you. Throwing shit in the street or on the sidewalk is unacceptable. You own a garbage can within the vicinity. What is the purpose of you throwing it in the street in your own neighborhood?
All your neighbors own garbage cans. Would you ever be upset if some dude walked up to your house and used your garbage can? Exactly.
No.
It's like, thank you for not throwing it on my lawn, dude.
There it is. That's simple.
No, I'm with you. But anyway.
Next week, I'm going to give Jason a call. See if Jason can't come in. We should talk some Knicks. Why not? A little MSG talk. Maybe he'll motivate us to get out to a Ranger game.
Right?
We haven't hung out with Jason this year at all, really, other than the wedding.
No, we haven't.
I mean, I saw him at my niece's birthday party a few weeks ago, but we and Meredith and I have been talking about going out with him and his wife too. She's a sweetheart. It was her birthday the other day. Happy birthday to Helen. Belated.
Happy birthday. Cheers.
It was the other day. But we'll catch y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And if you don't watch our show, then you ain't black.